Do, 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 do. Do, do, do.
Hey guys, and welcome back to Vlogs and Frogs. So, I was taking a little nap because, you know, I'm just such a hard worker. But, okay, but we're at Iroquois Park, okay? It's a beautiful park in Louisville, Kentucky. And we just want to show you guys it because it's absolutely magical. So, come, let's go. Okay guys, so obviously we're at Iroquois Park. Now, the land for this park was acquired in 1888 by Louisville, okay? And come 1891, the city of Louisville commissioned the GOAT of park design, Frederick Law Olmsted, to design an interconnected system of parks within Louisville, okay? This guy was the absolute GOAT. Through his lifetime, he designed 100 public parks. He designed plenty of other things, including people's yards. He worked on the Capitol. His most famous park would have to be Central Park in New York City. Many of his parks within that system in Louisville are Chickasaw Park, Cherokee Park, Seneca Park, obviously Iroquois Park, Shawnee Park, Victory Park, and even our Central Park. This park contains many different things, including basketball, tennis, soccer, volleyball, archery, fishing, hiking, horse trails. It includes a very large variety of playgrounds. Its biggest playground is wheelchair accessible to be very inclusive for people. Now, besides all that, this park has two major things, okay? One would be the amphitheater. This humongous amphitheater seats 2,348 people. It was built in the spring of 1938, and come 2004, it was closed, renovated, remodeled, and reopened. The biggest point in that renovation was to also make that amphitheater handicap accessible, to make it more inclusive so that more and more people can get out here and enjoy this beautiful place. That amphitheater today is actually the official amphitheater of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Now, the second very large amenity of this park is this right here. This is called the North Overlook. This absolutely beautiful view you see right here. It was built when the park was first built, and in 2014 through 2016, it was closed and renovated to make this handicap accessible. So now a wheelchair can go from the bottom of this park all the way up here to the North Overlook. And this is the beautiful view you see. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can see all the way into the knobs of Indiana, right on the other side of the border. You can see the bridges, you can see Churchill Downs, you can see the skyline downtown. It spreads extremely far, and the view is absolutely astonishing. The pictures and videos you're seeing right now do not do this place justice. You have got to get there and hike it. It is a pretty good hike, so you better be ready for it, but it is 137% worth it. Bingo! You gotta check it out. It's an absolutely gorgeous place. You can't beat it. Look at the view. You should support Iroquois Park. Iroquois Park is supported by the Olmsted Park Conservancy. This is a local nonprofit organization dedicated to enhancing, restoring, and protecting Louisville's Olmsted-designed parks and parkways, connecting nature and neighborhoods while strengthening the community's well-being. You can help keep Louisville's 17 Olmsted parks, including Iroquois Park, vibrant and beautiful by becoming an Olmsted Parks Conservancy member at olmstedparks.org. So I know that you see that all these leaves are dead and they're not green. So the question is, why are they not green anymore? Because they were green a couple months ago, and that thing's still green. So that's because it's deciduous versus evergreens. Deciduous trees are trees that shed their leaves annually, like the one above us. Evergreens are trees like this that don't shed their leaves annually. They stay forever green, such evergreens. Iroquois Park is a deciduous forest. This is because it is dominated by deciduous trees. If it was dominated by evergreens, it would be an evergreen forest. So now, as for why the leaves change colors, because the first step when it comes to fall is the leaves are going to change colors from green. They're going to change to shades of yellow and orange and red. Red's a little different. We'll get to that in a second. They first change to yellow and orange. Majority of them first change to yellow and orange because there's a chemical component called chlorophyll in plants. That is what gives it the green coloring. As there gets less light, the trees produce less chlorophyll. Thus, the leaves start changing color because they can't produce enough chlorophyll to keep green. So they change to yellow and orange. Now the color red, like thick red leaves, are actually a chemical change within the leaf. The leaves start to die and fall off because the tree will seal them off from the tree itself, because they know when it gets cold, those leaves are going to be weak links. So the leaves will die and fall off. When that seal is there, if sugars get trapped inside the leaves, it'll cause them to change to a very thick, dark red color. That one's not just a natural changing of leaves. That becomes because there is a chemical change within the leaf itself. They begin to fall off because that seal doesn't allow the leaves to get the nutrients from the leaves, which is why they become these very hard, crunchy, crumbly leaves. Now, the next question is going to be, well, why is there less light? I got a friend who's going to help me explain that. Professor Peterson!
Oh, well, hello there. So, as you probably already know, my name is Professor Peterson, and I want to answer your question of why is there less light in fall? Well, as the year goes on, we experience seasons, and throughout these different seasons, the Earth experiences different levels of intensity of sunlight, whether it be direct sunlight, hitting straight on, or indirect, hitting more at an angle, covering more surface area, but they're less intense rays. Direct is the most intense. So I want to talk about seasons. To do that, I'm going to need my friend here. Now, so as you see, the Earth is tilted on an axis. This axis is real, but the Earth is tilted on an imaginary axis. It's tilted roughly 23.5 degrees. This is believed to be caused by millions of years ago. An asteroid hit the Earth, knocking it off course, so now it's slightly tilted. It's also believed that the remains of that asteroid got stuck in an orbit around Earth and became our moon. This is going to be our sun. That's because I don't have the sun and I don't want to make a ball of flaming gas inside. So the Earth rotates around on its axis. That's 24 hours. Every rotation is 24 hours. This pat over here rushes now day, now rushes night, now day, now night, now day, now night, now day, now night. Now this axis right here is what causes seasons, because this axis will change the variation in direct and indirect sunlight that the Earth gets. So for example, we'll start here. On June 21st, the summer solstice. That's the longest day of the year, the most sunlight. We'll bring North America over here. It's getting direct sun rays. We are absolutely in the prime of summer, and it's the longest day because this is when we'll get the most sunlight, is when Earth is tilted towards the sun. Now, as the year goes on, we'll go about 90 degrees, orbiting around the sun. 90 degrees, and we're getting to fall. The autumnal equinox is on September 22nd. It's where there's roughly 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of darkness. Now we'll bring North America back over here. So we're not getting direct light, but we're also not getting very indirect light. It's kind of a variation of both. And because we're continuing to orbit this way, leaning away from the sun, that's why it's going to fall. Things are getting colder, things are dying off. We're getting less direct sunlight. That's why there's less light. Then we get to winter, another 90 degrees around the sun. Now we're tilted away. So here's North America. It's not direct, now it's indirect. That light is covering more surface area, but we're not getting intense rays right here on North America where we live. First day of winter is roughly December 21st. It's the winter solstice. That's the actual shortest day of the year, meaning we get the least amount of sunlight before we're back into the darkness. And that's because there's only a smaller space. Versus when we're tilted towards the Earth, there's a lot more space getting hit. But now, we're gonna keep going. Keep going. Now we're in spring. North America over here. So same with fall. It's not direct, but it's not indirect. The first day of spring is March 21st. It's the spring, or the vernal equinox. That's another day where it's 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness. Now, because we're continuing to orbit in the direction of leaning towards the sun, that is why in spring flowers start to bloom, all the vegetation comes back, you get out and start gardening, is because it's growing more direct, while in fall we would be growing less direct. So things start to die off, and it's the reverse. Thank you, Globe. So the tilt of the axis is what causes seasons, and as the seasons change, the intensity of the sunlight changes. And that is why things start to die and come back and grow. I'm happy to help. I gotta get going though. It's my lunch break.
I just want to tell you guys I've had a great time with you, and I hope you learned a lot. And more than anything, I really hope you guys come here because it's an absolutely astonishing park. And there are plenty of them. Within the Louisville park system, there's 120 parks. And this park actually houses the largest tulip poplar tree, which is the state tree of Kentucky. Now, I don't know specifically where it is, or do I? But either way it goes, I can't tell you because that information is kept secret so that people don't try to find it and cut into it, because then it could get infected and die. It's stated that it's over 130 feet tall. Pfft, crazy. But otherwise, guys, time for me to go. It's time for you to go. So, goodbye.